Through this book, P.G. Wodehouse, Carry On Jeeves. And look what Stephen Fry has to write, that had P.G. Wodehouse only contribution to literature been Lord Emsworth and Blanding's Castle, his place in history would have been assured. Had he written of none but Mike and P. Smith, and he'd be cherished today as the best, the brightest of our comic authors. If Jeeves and Wooster had been his solitary theme, still he'd be hailed as the master. If he had given us only a Cridge or nothing but recollections of the Mulliner family, or a pure diet of golfing stories, Wodehouse would have nonetheless be considered immortal. That he gave us all those and more is a good fortune and a testament to the most industrious, prolific, and beneficent author ever to have sat down, scratched his head, and banged out a sentence. Carry On Jeeves, P.G. Wodehouse, by Arrowworks. So I'm reading from the second page here. Pelham Grenville Wodehouse, always known as Plum, wrote more than 90 novels and some 300 short stories over 73 years. He is widely recognized as the greatest 20th century writer of humor in English language. Wodehouse mixed the high culture of his classical education with the popular slang of the suburbs in both England and America, becoming a cartoonist of words. Drawing on the antics of a near contemporary world, he placed his drones, earls, ladies, including draconian aunts and eligible girls and valets, in a recently vanished society whose reality is transformed by his remarkable imagination into something timeless and enduring. Further I read, perhaps best known for the escapades of Bertie Wooster and Jeeves, Wodehouse also created the world of Blanding's Castle, home to Lord Emsworth and his cherished pig, the Empress of Blanding. His stories include gems concerning the irrepressible and disputable Lockridge, P. Smith, the elegant socialist and ever so slightly unscrupulous 5th Earl of Ickenham, better known as Uncle Fred, and those related by Mr. Mulliner. Wodehouse collaborated with a variety of partners on straight plays and worked principally alongside Guy Bolton and on providing the lyrics and script of musical comedies with such composers as George Gershwin, Irving Berlin, and Cole Porter. He liked to say that the royalties of Just My Bill, with Jerome Kern incorporated into Showboat, were enough to keep him in tobacco and whiskey for the rest of his life. In 1936, he was awarded the Mark Twain Medal for having made an outstanding and lasting contribution to the happiness of the world. He was made a Doctor of Letters by Oxford University in 1939, and in 1975, aged 93, he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II. He died shortly afterwards on St. Valentine's Day. So that's P.G. Wodehouse. It was published in 1925. So Carry On Jeeves by P.G. Wodehouse is a classic humorous book featuring the iconic duo Bertie Wooster and his ingenious valet Jeeves. It's a collection of 10 short stories that showcase Bertie's misadventures and Jeeves' clever solutions to extricate him from trouble. Jeeves' wisdom and cunning consistently save the day. So you find, if you go through the book, you'll find humor and satire. Woodehouse's witty humor pokes fun at the British upper class. The friendship and loyalty that springs between Bertie and Jeeves is central, the bond that is central to the stories here. And social crisis, the novel explores the complexities of social hierarchy. And of course, all the stories are good. Notable ones are Jeeves Takes Charge, introduces Jeeves and Bertie's dynamics. Then you have the artistic cares of Corky, the artistic career of Corky. A friend's engagement is at stake. Let me just show you. Well, this is the ISBN, etc. Well, these are the 10 stories for you to read. P.G. Wodehouse's style is witty. There are a lot of witty dialogues and clever wordplay. The book is light-hearted and entertaining. The tone is just that. And the novel is delightfully entertaining. It's a must-read. It showcases Wodehouse's mastery of comedic writing. Read and see for yourself. See, I'm going to read randomly and show you what he writes. I happened to be looking at Florence's profile at the moment, and at this juncture she swung round and gave me a look that went right through me like a knife. Uncle Willoughby meandered back to the library, and there was a silence that you could have dug bits out of with a spoon. Look at the way he writes. So he says, I rang for Jeeves. He came in looking as if nothing had happened or was ever going to happen. He was the calmest thing in captivity. Jeeves, I yelled. Jeeves, that parcel has arrived in London. Yes, sir. Did you send it? Yes, sir. I acted for the best, sir. I think that both you and Lady Florence overestimated the danger of people being offended at being mentioned in Sir Willoughby's recollections. And so he goes on to say, do you know that Lady Florence has broken off her engagement with me? Indeed, sir. Not a bit of sympathy. I might have been telling him it was a fine day. You're sacked. Very good, sir. He coughed gently. And then Jeeves goes on to say, as I'm no longer in your employment, sir, I can speak freely without appearing to take a liberty. In my opinion, you and Lady Florence were quite unsuitably matched. Her ladyship is a highly determined and arbitrary temperament, quite opposed to your own. I was in Lord Ward Pleasonton's service for nearly a year, during which time I had ample opportunities of studying her ladyship. The opinion of the servants' hall was far from favourable to her. Her ladyship's temper caused a good deal of adverse comment among us. It was at times quite impossible. You would not have been happy, sir. Get out, he says. I think you would also have found her educational methods a little trying, sir. I glanced at the book her ladyship gave you. It has been lying on your table since our arrival, and it is, in my opinion, quite unsuitable. So again he says, get out. And he says, very good, sir. Then it's he goes on to write, it's rummy how sleeping on a thing often makes you feel quite different about it. It happened to me over and over again somehow or other. When I woke next morning, the old heart didn't feel half so broken as it had done. It was a perfectly topping day, and there was something about the way the sun came in at the window and the row of birds were kicking up in the ivy that made me half wonder whether Jeeves was right. Wasn't there something in what Jeeves had said about her character? I began to realize that my ideal wife was something quite different, something a lot more clinging and drooping and prattling and whatnot. So he's happy with what Jeeves done, and he tells him, Jeeves, I said when he came in with my morning tea, I've been thinking it over. You're engaged again. Thank you, sir, he says. And just read for yourself. It is so entertaining, wonderfully delightful. That's the ISBN. And Susan Hill writes, the funniest English novelist who ever wrote. So that's it. Enjoy. Carry on, Jeeves.